How to use Perplexity AI for research paper writing. Writing an actual research paper. Now, let's be clear about one thing first. This video is not about letting AI write your research paper for you. It's about using AI the way real researchers actually do. Because if you've tried using ChatGPT for academic writing, you already know the problem. It sounds confident, but you can't trust the sources, you can't verify the claims, and you definitely can't submit it as a real research. So start by opening Perplexity AI on your web browser. Here we have our browser, we've typed in Perplexity and then go to Perplexity AI. Over there, create your account if you already don't have one using either your Gmail, your Google account, your email address, or Apple. And then just sign into your account. And here we are. This is the main dashboard. Click inside the search bar that you have here. So this is your basic area, and this is where you'll be spending most of your time in this search area. You'll be searching for different topics, and then you'll get answers for any of your questions or requests. If you go to the left, you can access your history. You can also discover some other reading options for you, and you can go through all these different categories of researches and papers and articles. And then you have some spaces that you can create for yourself. You can create new spaces using different templates, and you can create a new space. You can also go over finances, so you can check out US markets, crypto, different earnings, politicians, and stock analysis, and a currency conversion, and all of that. So you can get into that if you have an interest for this. And then over here in the search area, you can either go for fast answers to everyday questions that you can ask Perplexity, or you can also go towards this option and go into deep research where you can create in-depth reports and you can get answers with a lot more sources and more references. You can also get charts in your answers, and you can get really advanced reasoning. So the explanations to your answers or any requests that you make, the explanations would be very, very detailed with proper sources, making the answer very authentic, especially for any kind of research. So if you want deep research, then you'll select this option. And here you can create files and apps. So very easily, you just need to describe, and then you can turn your ideas into documents and slides and dashboards and many other options that you have. Moving towards the right, you have the sources for your search. So if you click here, you have some options that you can go for depending on whatever you're working on, what kind of research it is, what kind of question you have, what you need to know. Based on that, you can select which research source you want the sources from. So where do you want the sources to be coded from? Do you want the sources to be from the web? If you want that, then you turn this one on. If you want academic researches, if you want to search in academic papers and you want the academic papers to be sourced in the answer, you want those to be linked, you want those to be referenced, then you'll go for the academic option. Then you also have social. So if you want any social discussions and social opinions in your answer, or that is the area of research that you are working on, then you'll go for social. So depending on whatever you're researching, we'll leave it at web for right now. Then you have a model. So you can choose the different models that you want to carry out this research for you. You can attach any file if you like. You can upload a document, an image, anything like that. And then you also have the option of dictation. You can use your voice, you can connect a mic or whatever, and then you can dictate and the AI will note it down for you. You also have the option of voice mode, so you can turn voice mode on here as well. Now, to start writing a research paper, we need a research topic, and we'll be choosing a research paper topic using Perplexity. Instead of randomly choosing a topic, Perplexity can help you brainstorm strong research topics that already have available academic material. So try writing a prompt. For example, here, write a prompt like this. I've written in suggest research paper topics about artificial intelligence in education suitable for university level, and then submit that. You'll usually receive multiple topic suggestions along with brief explanations. So here we have some explanations, brief explanations, and then some topics with headings. So we have personalized learning topics over here. Then we have some topics related to ethical challenges. So these are some research topics that you can get into if you want to. And here we have our research topic suggestions divided by category. So you can see these headings as well. And then these are in the bullet points. We have some topics for research. You have the impact of intelligent tutoring systems, and then machine learning, AI powered personalized feedback, and essay grading. So these are categorized into personalized learning. So these are related to personalized learning. So if you want to research in this category related to ethical challenges, then you can go for these topics, which are ethical implications. Then you have algorithmic bias and faculty perceptions of AI integration. Then you also have administrative applications, you have emerging technology topics, you also have AI and assessment topics. So look through the topics and choose one that is specific but not too narrow, supported by academic sources. You want to make sure that the topic is relevant to your assignment or field, and also it should be interesting enough to keep you motivated. So for example, you might choose a topic like the impact of AI tools on student learning outcomes. And once you choose your topic, or any topic from here, whatever topic you choose, once you choose your topic, copy it or note it down, because this will guide the rest of your research process. And then before starting your detailed research with Perplexity, switch Perplexity to focus on scholarly information. So go ahead, copy your topic. So whatever your topic is going to be, highlight it and copy it, and then paste it in your notes somewhere or note it down anywhere. Copy this and then go back. So before we set our sources to web, if we go here, we were searching on the web. Now, once you know what topic you're working on, you've selected your topic, you've gone through all the different topics, you've read them, you've read the categories, and you've decided on one, then like we decided and we copied our topic, and now we're back here, and now we're going to change this category here. So we're not going to be searching only on the web anymore. We want to go into scholarly articles. So we're going to go for the academic papers, and we're going to turn this on, and we're going to turn the web off. So now we're ready to search on topics or do more research related to our topic, and we're going to start researching. So we're going to be searching only academic papers, and that's why we're going to keep this one on and the rest of them off. Now, this mode that we have selected is going to prioritize research papers, journals, scholarly articles, and verified academic sources. Using academic mode improves the credibility of your research paper because it reduces reliance on general blogs or non-academic websites. Now, at this point, you will begin gathering foundational knowledge about your topic. So type in your selected research topic into Perplexity. So we'll just paste our topic here. And you want to add in explain. So add explain to the start of your topic, and you wanted to explain the impact. So the topic basically was the impact of AI tools on students and so on. So we're going to add in explain right at the start of it. So we're going to ask Perplexity to actually explain the impact of AI tools on student learning to us. And once you enter in your topic and ask it to explain, submit your question or submit your request, then you'll see that Perplexity will generate a structured explanation supported by citations. Read through the responses carefully. We can see we have these explanations over here. So it says AI tools have mixed but often positive impacts on student learning outcomes, enhancing personalization and engagement while posing risk like over-reliance. Here we have the positive impacts, negative impacts, and key challenges. And all of these explanations have sources linked over here, and they're not just one source. You don't see one source. In fact, you see 4 sources over here. So for this paragraph here, we have 4 sources, 1, 2, 3, and 4 sources, and we can go to these topics and read more about them. Here too, we have 3 sources. Up here, we have 6 sources, And then if we go up here, we have two sources. Read through the response very carefully. If we go down here, we can see that in total we have 18 sources. And if you click here, you can go only to the sources, or after the answer, if you go to this section, you'll have all the links there. So these are the links to the sources that have been included in the answer, in the explanation. Read the explanation very, very carefully, go through it, go through the sources. While reviewing, pay attention to the key concepts related to your topic. Pay attention to any important research findings that you see. So, any findings that you see here, pay attention to that, note those down. Any terminology commonly used in the academic papers, pay attention to those. And of course, pay attention to the source links provided by Perplexity. You can click on the citation links. So if you go down here, you can click on you can get all the 18 sources, and then if you click on them, you can open up the original document or the original research articles, and this is going to help you confirm information and collect reliable references for your papers. You can go here to the sources, view all the sources, go to that source, go to the actual original research paper, or you can go here and then click here, and then you'll also be taken to the source, or you can go to the links and click on the link and you'll be taken to the whole page, to the whole research paper again. At this stage that we're at right now, your goal is to understand the topic deeply and not writing anything yet. So you don't need to concentrate on writing, just focus on getting to know and getting to understand the topic in depth. You want to understand the topic very deeply. And then once you understand the topic, use Perplexity to help create a focused research direction. So now you know your topic, you've read about it, you know all details, you know the topic very deeply, and next you need to start carrying out your research. And in order to carry that out, you need a research direction, a system, a kind of structure that you want to follow. So for that, use Perplexity to help you create a focused research direction. So the question or the request that we are going to put in, type the prompt, it should look something like this, that which I'm just going to paste in. The prompt could be generate possible research questions for a paper about AI tools and student learning outcomes, and submit your request. And once you submit your request, Perplexity will generate multiple research questions. So review those questions and select one question that you like, or you can also combine multiple ideas and generate questions of your own. So going down here, we can see that there are a lot of questions that have been generated. You have effectiveness questions, you have equity and access related questions, and you also have risks and challenges related questions. And then these are not just random questions. These questions are arising in multiple researches, or these questions have been the center of attention or the center of discussion in certain research papers, and those are linked. So you have the sources here as well. You have a journal here in which they're talking about the impact of generative AI in academic integrity and learning outcomes. The next question is also linked to another research here, which is titled this. So we learned that these are not just random questions. With Perplexity, the research questions that you ask it to generate will be questions that researchers are actually actively looking for the answers of. And these are questions that people are already asking and considering, and they really want more detailed answers on these questions. So if you shape your research according to these questions, then you'd be answering the questions of a lot of people. And you can rest assured that your research that you will be conducting and then answering the questions, the research is going to be very fruitful, very productive, and it's going to be helping a large audience. And with your research, you'd also be closing any research gaps that were already present. So select your question, or you can mix up or combine questions and make up your own. So finally decide what your questions are going to be, decide them, copy them, paste them somewhere, save the questions in a nice place on a notebook, on your notes anywhere, on a separate document, wherever you're noting everything related to your research. So for now, I'll just select this question. So let's highlight this question and copy this. And then we'll go down back to Perplexity and we're going to paste in our question. So this is the question, and then you need to add in your request to this question as well. The request is going to be help me create a thesis statement based on this research question. And then this is going to be the research question. So at the top here, I'm going to paste in the request, help me create a thesis statement based on this research question. And then we'll put in some punctuation. There we go. We've made the request and we've also included the research question. So submit your question. And then Perplexity has generated our thesis statement for us. This is the statement up here. It says student over-reliance on AI tools in higher education reduces critical thinking and long-term retention, and so on and so forth. So this is a well thought and a thorough thesis statement. It is a proper statement that you would need for your thesis. So now let's go down, and it's also explaining to us why this works. So this it works because this thesis is concise, it's arguable, and it directly addresses your research question's casual focus. It highlights key mechanisms while nodding to evidence from prior conversation context. And then down here we have some alternatives as well. So this is basically the thesis statement, but down here we have some alternatives provided by Perplexity as well. This has a broader scope. So if you want to have a broader scope than the thesis statement that you had before, then you can go for this statement, and it says over-reliance on AI tools undermines critical thinking and long-term retention, and this is the other statement. Then you have another statement which has a narrower focus. So if you want a narrower focus, then you can go for this one. And then you also have a third option for the statement, which is more counterpoint ready, which goes by while AI tools enhance efficiency, student over-reliance in higher education significantly erodes critical thinking and long-term retention, outweighing short-term gains. So this one is more counterpoint ready. So you've received several thesis statement suggestions. Now choose one that clearly defines your argument or main research goal. So look for the one which suits you, and then save your thesis statement. Either copy this and paste it in your notes or note it down. So just remember to keep saving all the things that you are generating, the final generation. So the research questions that were done, you had to save those. You have to save your thesis statement, because we're just going to be going on and to the next step. So over here, after the thesis statement, after you've selected the thesis statement, note it somewhere, save, and then move forward to the next step, which is building your research paper outline. So before writing, creating a structured outline makes the process easier and keeps your content organized. So at the very start, go for building your research paper outline. This outline is going to be very, very important, and it's going to give you a sense of direction. It's going to give you a structure of how you need to execute everything and what is going to come next. So in order to generate your paper outline, your research paper outline, you need to generate a prompt for that, and you need to ask Perplexity to generate your research paper outline for you. I'm just going to paste in the prompt. So this is the prompt. It says create a detailed research paper outline for this topic, including introduction, literature, review, methodology, results, and conclusion. So these are all parts of a research, and of course we know that you're going to have an introduction, and you do need a literature review and methodology and results and conclusion. So just list all of the parts of your research and ask it to create a detailed research paper outline for this topic. Also include the topic so that there isn't any room for confusion. Let's paste in the topic as well before submitting the question. There we go. We put in our thesis statement, and then we're going to request Perplexity to create a detailed research paper outline for this topic, and then we put in the topic, and then we're going to ask it to include introduction, literature review, methodology, results, and conclusion. Then submit your request. And then we can see that we also have a title now that's been generated. And then it also explains that this outline structures a 5,000 to 8,000 word research paper. And then it will be about this topic. So we have the title over here, which is Student Over Reliance on AI Tools in Higher Education, Impacts on Critical Thinking and Long-Term Retention. And then some details on our topic, our research, and then the paper structure. So the first thing in the paper structure is the abstract, which is 150 to 250 words. We didn't mention that we need an abstract, but because it is part of the paper structure, Perplexity has included that on its own. And then we requested it to include the introduction. And here we do have the introduction and all the subheadings that go in the introduction chapter. So we have the background, the problem statement, the research question, and then thesis and significance and structure overview as well. And these are all the subheadings that go inside of the introduction. Then we have our second heading that we wanted it to include. Then we have the literature review, which is 1,500 to 2,000 words. And you also have a framework, so the theoretical framework within the literature review. And you also have the AI in Education Evolution. Then the framework is also shown in a table with the key concepts. And then if you go down, you have the methodology. So we requested it to include the methodology. In the methodology, you have details on the design and the participants and whatever instruments that were used, the procedure, data analysis, and the limitations. So these are the subheadings which are always included in methodology, and those are all there. So nothing has been skipped. Everything is going very detailed for now. Then we have the results, and inside the results we have the quantitative results and the qualitative theme. And then for the qualitative theme, you have the results or the findings inside of a table, and you can see the statistics. And then after that, you have discussion as well, the interpretation, the implications, and the limitations and future researches that can be done after this research. So it's also been indicated where there is more room for research further after this research, and other researchers can conduct their studies on these topics, on these future research options. Then you have the broader context as well. And right at the end, you have your conclusion heading that we requested. Inside the conclusion, you'll restate the thesis and you'll get the key evidence. So the conclusion would basically be generated after the whole of the research has been conducted. And in the conclusion, you're going to conclude your findings and then include all the references here according to whatever format you need to follow for your paper. It could be APA or MLA, so whatever format you need to follow that one, and put in all your references, include all the cited web sources, which is going to be very, very easy because you don't have to go and copy the sources and put them in individually and download the papers and go through the papers, because with Perplexity, you have everything done for you. You have all the pages gone through for you. You have the sources linked for you already. All you need to do is put them in one place, and this is going to save you months and months of work that usually people used to have to put in while conducting their researches. And then you'd also include an appendices section where you'd put in any survey instruments, any details on those. Additional raw data tables would go inside that area, and IRB protocol would go in there. So these documents or these notes or any information regarding these topics would go into the appendices section. So as you can see, this is very, very, very detailed. Even looking from the start, we can see that we have each and every detail for the research that we want to conduct. We have the abstract in terms of the outline. We have, it starts right from the abstract, and then it goes down all the way into all the details, all the methodology, the procedure, the results, the conclusion, right down to the appendices, which shows that this is super detailed. Nothing has been left out, and this is a perfect guidance that you can get for any kind of research. So once Perplexity has generated a structured outline, and it includes the introduction, the literature review, the research methodology, the discussion and analysis, and the conclusion. You want to copy all of this. So copy all of this, copy this outline into your document editor, such as your Google Docs or your Word document, wherever you are noting everything down. You want to copy this whole outline and save it somewhere, and then this outline will become your writing roadmap. So whenever you're writing, you're always going to reference right back to the outline and see what part you are on, and then what details you need to put in, so that you don't miss anything out and your research has a very smooth flow. It is detailed and it is not missing anything. Now, you can also refine your research by asking Perplexity to either maybe expand specific sections. So, any section that you would like to improve and you want to expand that, you want it to be more detailed, you can ask Perplexity to expand a specific section, or you can even ask it to add subheadings. So, anywhere you think there need to be subheadings, then you can ask it to include subheadings over there. And then you can also ask Perplexity to simplify the structure for a beginner. So if you're a beginner and you haven't really conducted a lot of researches and you're just starting out with the research, or you're just starting out with Perplexity, you can request it to simplify the structure for you, or just for any beginner. And then after the outline, the next step is to start collecting academic sources and references. So you'll start gathering the sources that support your research here on Perplexity, and you're going to ask Perplexity to provide you the academic sources and research papers related to your research. So you're going to generate a prompt, or you're going to write in a prompt for that. I'm just going to paste in the request that we are making with Perplexity. And there we go. So we're requesting it to provide academic sources and research papers related to AI tools in student learning. So we need research papers and academic sources according to for our topics. And what is our topic? AI tools in student learning. So we need research papers and academic sources for this topic. Then submit. And there we have it. These are the sources. So it says recent academic research on AI tools in student learning spans systematic reviews, experiments, and empirical studies, often highlighting benefits like personalization alongside risks such as over-reliance. Key papers include those on generative AI's mixed impacts and tutoring systems. And then you have the sources, you have the papers, all academic sources and all research papers are listed down here according to categories. So they've also been divided into the different categories. You have systematic reviews and meta-analysis, and you also have experimental and empirical studies. And then the sources or the research papers are, their titles are given in bullet points. You have experimental evidence on negative impact of generative AI on scientific learning outcomes. And that is the title. And then there's a brief summary on, just a brief line on what this study includes. So it finds 25% accuracy drop from AI reliance in reading and writing tasks. Perplexity tells you what it includes. So it surveys 250 students, positive links to performance, but calls for blended use. So absolutely super convenient here. You have all the sources and all the researches down here with their title, and also with a summary of what has been concluded from these researches or what has been done in these research with just a few words. Now, I'm really impressed how you can get such a brief review of what is going on in that research. For example, if we look again here, this research analyzes 64 studies showing AI optimizes outcomes via machine learning. So this is a very convenient, very helpful list here. Perplexity has listed articles and journals and research papers with clickable citations over here, and you can go to those citations too. Now, because you're conducting a research, this is your thesis that you are working on, and you need to be very vigilant, you need to be very careful and go into every detail and make sure that the research you are conducting is very reliable. So for that, you're going to then open up each source in a new browser. So over here you have the source, you're going to click on it and you're going to open up the source in a new browser. And there we go, we've opened up our source in a new browser tab. You want to do this for every source. So all the sources inside here, so let's go back here. For all the sources, you want to open them up in another tab and then go to those sources and read through them. You want to review the sources and look for author credibility. So you want to go up and make sure that you go look at the author, check out the author credibility. You want to make sure that the research is relevant and you want to make sure that you have supporting evidence according to what your research is and you have authentic sources supporting what you are trying to claim. So save useful articles in a document or a bookmark folder. These sources will later be used in your literature review and in your citations. So don't just go over them and be like, okay, this is good and I'm taking this information from there. No, make sure, of course, definitely. And if you're a researcher, you would know how important all these articles are. It's very difficult finding all these sources and all these articles where Perplexity has done that for you. So anyone would really value this and they would make sure that they don't lose these articles and they save these articles in a document and just the useful ones. So don't get carried away and start saving everything. Save the useful articles in a document or in a bookmarked folder. And then you can use these sources and these papers later for your literature review. So the literature review would become so much easier once you have all of these sources. And of course, you'll be needing these papers for the citations, so keep them safe. And then after you have done that, you want to move towards writing your literature review. So go back to Perplexity. So here we are, and you're going to give Perplexity a prompt. Type in summarize key research findings from these academic articles related to AI in education. So now we're moving towards writing our literature review, and this is what we're going to ask Perplexity to do for us and then submit. And then here you have the findings. You can also paste article links or research excerpts over here for summarization and ask Perplexity to summarize them for you. Perplexity will generate summaries showing major findings and research trends. So instead of copying directly, use these summaries to understand patterns between studies. And then just keep continuing with your outline. After our literature review, we're going to go towards the methodology. So you need to generate your methodology ideas if your research paper requires methodology. So if your research paper requires methodology, then Perplexity can help you design research methods as well. Just type in a prompt, type in suggest research methodologies for studying AI tools and student performance, and then submit that, and then you'll get the methodology options that you can go with. Perplexity may suggest surveys, case studies, experimental research, interviews, data analysis methods, all these methods. So choose a methodology that matches your assignment requirements, then ask Perplexity to explain how to implement that methodology step by step. This is going to help you clearly describe your research process in the paper. And then finally, once the research and outline preparation are complete, begin writing sections of your paper. So start with the introduction, ask Perplexity to help you draft an academic introduction for this research topic with background context and research importance. Perplexity will generate a structured introduction for you. Use this as a base draft and then rewrite or customize it in your own writing style to avoid plagiarism and maintain originality. Just make sure that your introduction includes the background information, the problem statement, the research objective, and the thesis statement. So you would know how the structure goes. Make sure that you include all of these in the introduction, just like Perplexity suggested as well. And as you go along, as you are writing your research for each of these sections, you can ask Perplexity for assistance. You can ask Perplexity for assistance. For example, you can say, explain how AI improves personalized learning with academic references, or you can ask it to help you in any step of the way, any section. And Perplexity will provide research explanations with citations. So use these explanations to understand content and then write your own version while referencing the sources properly. Repeat this process for each section of your paper, and this workflow will ensure that your writing stays research supported while maintaining academic credibility. You can also upload or describe your data and ask Perplexity to help you interpret the research findings and explain their significance. Remember that even though Perplexity provides citations, always open the source links and confirm the information accuracy. Write your content in your own words and combine multiple sources for balanced arguments. After you have written your paper with the help of Perplexity, and after you have edited your paper to paste your full paper into Perplexity and ask it to review this research paper for clarity, structure, and academic strength. With this method, Perplexity can highlight any weak sections, any grammar issues, or any unclear arguments, and then use these suggestions to perform final improvements. So, to summarize, using Perplexity for research paper writing usually follows this workflow. Choose your topic, conduct your background research, create research question and thesis, build your outline, collect academic sources, write the literature review, develop your methodology, draft the sections, add citations, and edit and proofread. So, following this step by step method allows you to use AI as a research assistant while still producing original academic work. So, that is it. That is how to write a research paper, an actual research paper, using Perplexity AI.